and welcome back to another video. Sorry that last week the video I posted was so short. I was out of town for a minute, kind of just spending time with my boyfriend and getting in a little bit of the last moments of summer. You know, trying to figure out exactly how to make the best videos, what videos to make for you guys, and hopefully include more of you guys into the family. I want to focus on not the new year, at least in the American Gregorian calendar, but going through talking about a new season, what a new season means, and how most importantly we are preparing for that new season as we're going through the last couple of weeks of summer and beginning to think about fall. I think it's really important to just reorganize. As you can see, I've reorganized my bedroom and it looks a little bit different. And I have you guys kind of facing at like a downward angle because of the way my bed is set up now. But I kind of just wanted to be a little bit more intimate, talk to you guys a little bit more, do something a little different this time, you know? So I'm gonna be putting away my laundry while we talk about this. It's not weird. My room has been like relatively in the same setup for the last year. My mom and I moved out here. It'll be 2 years in December. I really have only been in this room at like a couple weeks at a time or like a month or two at a time for like summer and winter break because I've been finishing out school. I went to school in Baltimore, Maryland, which is about an hour and 45 minutes from where I'm at. My junior year, my mom was like, don't come home. Also because we were still like exiting the pandemic. But because she was like, you spent, you know, the last year and a half at home online. I know you love this house, but like get out. So I didn't really spend as much time home. I spent a little bit more time at home my senior year because I did want to kind of reclaim this space and make it more mine. But I haven't really done a lot since I've been home, if I'm being honest. I've been adjusting and other things, healing from the semester itself, and kind of just recuperating and getting all of my feelings, thoughts, boundaries, and just all of those things that you have to work on after undergrad. If you know where I'm coming from, you know where I'm coming from. I don't even gotta explain it like that. So I need to like settle in, kind of make this space feel like it's mine for the time being and like it's a place that I want to be at. Which I do. I love my mom. I love being home. I love being able, like, the one thing I've really been doing this past summer is cooking. So I've been cooking dinner for her every weeknight and on weekends. And I've been working on making myself breakfast and lunch more and like not eating out as much because, you know, we do not claim brokenness though. That is not a thing of Christ. But my space, while it has been like my refuge, has just been feeling really meh lately. And yeah, so I decided to move my bed around, decided to move some things in the wall around, decided to finally put some things up. It feels a lot better than what it did when I first got home this summer, which was really my goal, is just feeling like I am living here for longer than 2 months, for longer than the summer. My first like tip or number one of what you should think about doing as you begin this fall, it is the beginning of the Jewish New Year, Rosh Hashanah. As you are walking through this new season, finishing out the summer season and, you know, figuring out all of the things that happen in between that, rearrange your space, make it feel like it is prepared for the season so that you can feel prepared for the season. If you really want to step into a season feeling refreshed and renewed, I think that it is always really wise to kind of make your space reflect exactly what you're trying to do with your mind. You know what I mean? At the beginning of the pandemic, when I was starting school online, I like refreshed my space. I made it look new. I painted, like I did all of the things, and that's what really helped me feel like, well, yes, I am kind of stuck in this place right now. I can refresh it, I can rejuvenate it, I can make it feel more like who I am approaching in this season, working on relationship to the self and understanding that in this time I have to focus on being able to not just heal what needs to be healed inside of me, but acknowledge what needs to have growth and acknowledging growth means that you're breaking away certain things and that you're introducing new things. I know it can be a lot. Like refreshing your old stuff, like repurposing things. Like there are a couple things in my room that I've had for a couple years that I've just like repurposed. I paint it or I like decorate it a different way. I always just try and keep it not just fresh, but fresh to me. Get into a new routine. I'm sure that a lot of you have jobs or are doing some kind of work or are even beginning school. And one of the things that you have to solidify as you're beginning all of those is figuring out what your new routine is going to be. For me right now, I am trying to work on waking up earlier because this summer, I will not lie to you, I was sleeping in till like 11 a.m., sometimes past noon, because I felt like I really just needed rest. Like this was 110% my season of rest. The summer was just resting, figuring out what my next steps were, figuring out what I need to do for myself, figuring out how I need to walk differently going into the season. And that became one of the most important things to me. It was just like focusing on rest and not feeling guilty for resting. Going into almost the new year, it's time to think about, changing some of those things up and bringing the new back into play. I've been trying to wake up at 5 a.m. I have been successfully, for the most part, waking up around like 6, 7 a.m. How I start my mornings, which is how I've been starting my mornings all summer, is with my devotional. I'm gonna actually link Glorify. That is the app that I use. I know everyone uses the Bible app, but Glorify is just like, to me, it's better. The Bible app devotionals were kind of just lacking for me in my last season. So I was like, I need something new, I need something refreshing. Glorify is that they have the same, idea of like keeping your streak. They have the Bible on there. They have different versions of the Bible. The devotional is what really helps me. Like it starts with a morning quote and then it goes into the verse of the day and then it goes into a devotional pertaining to that verse and then it has a prayer that just reflects on what the devotional was saying and what the verse was saying. And for me, that gives a lot more context. And I think that right now in my walk with God, I'm in a very like contextual, I want to read the word, I want to understand it, I want to know the historical aspect of it. That's probably one of my favorite things about the app is that they have historical information about like who it was written by, when it was written, who it was written for, which are things that I have like become so obsessed with in this time. I just love that app. It has really helped me not just solidify my understanding of the Bible, but make me feel more inclined to want to read more, which I think is something that is really beautiful. I don't think in majority of my walk with Christ that I've been in the seeking, but I've never been in like the fully seeking and knowing and seeking him through his word. In addition to doing that devotional dailies, I'm doing it along with a Bible recap. The Bible recap is one of the best resources that I've ever used for learning the word, for reading the word, for studying the word, most importantly. It takes you through the entire Bible in a year. I might be moving kind of slow because I'm doing it with my church, and my church does it like every other week. But the best part about it is you read chapters and answer questions that were like designed specifically for that chapter. So if you're reading through Genesis, it's going to ask you like, what was the purpose of da 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 da? I can't think of the questions right now. It's pretty awesome. I've talked about it in not my last video, but the video before that on my date with Jesus. It is really nourishing to a Christian that is looking for answers, especially whenever you're in a season of like confusion. Like for me, this season of rest was like really hard because I am a workaholic. I'm busy bee. I'm out doing whatever I need to be doing. Like I'm used to that. So being forced to stay home and rest and do other things was like torture for a couple of weeks. Started it, I think, like the middle of June with my church. That really helped me. Like I can still feel gratified by the things that I'm doing, but I don't need to work myself past a point of exhaustion in order to feel that. Because that's exactly how college is, and that's exactly how professors and admin treat students is like you just need to keep going, keep going, keep going until you're done. And now that I'm done, it's like, okay, what do I do now? And especially not being able to find work immediately has been very frustrating. Having the Bible recap, focusing on the word and what God is telling me and what his promises are, and taking that energy and putting it into things like cooking, or putting it into things like reorganizing my space, or just revitalizing myself in a way that isn't so conforming to what the world is expecting of you, like to be busy, to have a business, to have all of these things. Like having this season of rest, to just be quiet, to just be still, has been so needed. And I don't even think I realized I needed it until I got a couple weeks into it, and I was like, whew, I really did need this, Lord. Thank you. Like you you knew, obviously. Just like opening yourself up to having a slower morning, to having a more intentional morning, to be more authentic with the way that you're waking up, without, starting to get up at 7 a.m. and then immediately getting on your phone and then getting ready for work. Like you could do so many, not even so many, but like you could do one other thing that really refreshes you in a way that I don't think that you would expect. So my third thing is do your laundry, physical and emotional. One of the biggest things that I had to clean out this past season is just like realizing and figuring out, dude, I cannot be focused on people's opinions anymore. For a really long time, I was, and I never really allowed myself space to breathe, to be quite honest with you. I wasn't prioritizing God the way that I should have been. I was seeking out answers from more of my friends than I was God. That's always an issue whenever you are, asking the Lord for guidance and saying, God, I need you, God, I need you, but you're not seeking Him, you're not asking for His opinion, you're not doing any of those things. Kind of conflicting. It's really important in this new season, in whatever you're walking into, to clear out your dirty laundry. And clearing out your dirty laundry means that you may get a little hurt in the process, that you may realize some things that you weren't thinking about or weren't acknowledging, and that's okay, because at the end of the day, cleaning out your dirty laundry is going to allow for you to be a better version of yourself. Oof, that's a word. It's not something that is easy. I'm not even going to lie to you. I'm not even going to act like I'm telling you guys this because you should do it and it's going to be like easy. No, you should do it because it's going to be better for you. It's going to be hard. It's going to be difficult. It's going to be really uncomfortable. But in order for you to get to where you want to be in that next season, you're going to have to be willing to get uncomfortable. Speaking from experience. So clear out your laundry, get things together, apologize to the people you need to apologize to, take accountability for the things you need to take accountability for. Don't sugarcoat things. Don't and cleaning out your dirty laundry also involves the people that are in your life. If there are people that are in your life that aren't speaking into you, that aren't speaking to you, that are kind of acting really negative around you, or are not really pouring into you the way that you're pouring into them, those are some dirty laundry items that might just need to not go back into the basket, but go to Goodwill and like say, see you later. I loved you. I appreciated you. I was glad to have you in my life. It's time for me to move on. Speaking of Goodwill, don't hold on to all of them clothes that you've had since your freshman year of high school because, oh, it was really cute when I wore it. Girl, get rid of it. Saying this as I'm folding like maybe 20 articles of clothing. I won't lie to y'all. This summer, I've been wearing the same like 20 outfits. I have more than 20 outfits in that closet and in those drawers. I have been really feeling the Lord telling me to like, I love that you are taking into consideration what you put into your temple by eating cleaner, and what you're doing with your temple by working out consistently. Like I work out 3 to 4 times a week. And now, and like literally in this last like month or two, he's been like, you are doing all of these things that are so great for your body. The way that you dress is something you have to include in that as well. And I was convicted for a while because I have lost a little bit of weight, and I kind of started wearing things that I was like, oh, I've never been able to wear this before. And it was really easy for me, especially looking back, to tell that I wasn't wearing it because it made me feel comfortable. I was wearing it because I wanted people to notice me wearing it. And that kind of took me out for a second. Like I was really like, wow, I want to be noticed and acknowledged so badly that I'm dressing a specific way in order to gain that. And that I had to take that to God. I had to really say like, Lord, I don't know where this desire came from, and I don't understand what the root of it is. Reveal that to me and help me to do better going forward. It's really easy in our society to just be like, oh, she wears that, or ooh, like he would like me when I wear this, or like guys like me more whenever I show off my shoulders or when I wear shorter dresses or whatever. And it's like, yes, I understand that you want to be desired, but are you wanting to be desired for your heart or desired for your body? And at the same time, like I know that like sexual liberation and being liberated in your body is the thing right now, and I'm not shaming none of y'all. Like if that is what you want to do, if that's how you want to dress and live your life, please do. Like do what you desire if that is what you desire. But for me, I desire to do the work of the Lord and to do it greatly and to honor him in all that I do. And understanding that not just honoring him through working out and not just honoring him by eating better, but honoring him through how I dress is also very important. And I had to sit back, understand, okay, Lord, my closet is probably an issue. And I need your guidance on what I should be wearing and what I shouldn't. It's been easier for me to be like, do I really need this? No. And now I have a whole pile of dresses that I bought my junior year of college or like my freshman year of college that I just don't have the desire to wear because it's like this isn't suiting who I want to be. It's not suiting what my body is feeling best in. And if you really want to be able to say like, no, I'm walking on this walk with the Lord, I'm understanding that there are hard things, I'm understanding that I make mistakes, but if I'm gonna do it, like I want to be able to honor him in all of it, not just in parts of it, in all of it. And I have to be willing to surrender those things. That gets into my final point. Surrender. That's been my word for 2023. I'll surrender it to God. Surrender the feelings, surrender all of the things. Don't hold on. But I feel like there is this untalked about feeling with telling people to let go. Like let go and let God. Absolutely. And I'm gonna explain myself. For me, letting go means, oh yeah, I've let go of it. But it doesn't mean I'm not holding on to it. And it sounds weird because obviously most people are talking about that in the sense of if you're letting go, you're no longer holding on to it. Sure. But for some people, in the way their mind thinks, it's like, yeah, I'm letting it go by letting that person go and letting the situation go from my mind and letting this go and letting that go. But that doesn't mean that you're not still trying to hold on to things that aren't good for you or that are no longer serving you or that are, I'm speaking to myself right now. But that you're not holding on to things that you said you let go. Especially in this season, I had a lot of stuff that I was like, Lord, I let it go to you. I'm surrendering it to you. I'm giving it to you. I had a moment, especially in doing like the Bible recap, where it was just like, I see that God has acknowledged that I'm letting go, but I don't think that I realized how much he was trying to call my attention to what I was still holding on to. It wasn't that I wasn't trying to let go or that I wasn't letting go the situation itself, but there were parts and pieces and sections of those things that I was still holding on to without even realizing it. Because it's really easy to let go of a person or let go of a situation and still hold on to that one part that really hurts you. And maybe I'm not speaking to anyone. Maybe I'm just speaking to myself, and that's totally okay. I'm gonna watch this when I edit it later. But the big thing that I've had to realize is that in the process of letting go, you have to realize what you've been holding on to tighter. And there are a lot of things that happen in situations with people, with career, with school, whatever, that you say like, oh yeah, I've let that go, but you really are still holding on to like a singular piece of it, and that is what is attaching itself to your heart. And that's the biggest thing, is like, if you let go, you can let go of the person, let go of the situation, be like, I'm not going to think about it anymore. But the second that somebody mentions that person, or the second that somebody mentions that situation or a situation similar to that, and there's this little knob that goes off in your heart that's like, blink, blink, blink. Oh, that is something that somebody did to me, or like, that's something that they did to me. It's like, oh, you let it go. But the second that it came back around, or the second that you were reminded of it, there was still a little piece that you were like, still holding on to, that was still able to get itself to you, that was still able to push that right button that caused for you to be like, well, now I'm upset again. Why? It's a hard lesson. I'm learning it. That's why I'm talking about it. Like, that's why I know I'm preaching to myself right now. I'm not even preaching, but I'm just talking to myself. There are things that we hold on to without even realizing it. And the the beautiful thing about God is that when he asks you to surrender fully, I really strongly believe that he does understand that in surrendering fully, it's a consistent surrender. And that's why he asks us to die to our flesh daily. You have to constantly be willing to surrender, 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 so that you are walking into a space where you're constantly telling God, like, I know that there are things that I could be subconsciously holding on to, Lord, and I'm sorry that I'm doing that. I surrender to you. And that's one of the things that I've really taken into consideration when I'm beginning my daily routine is like things will come to my mind that I'm like, ooh, Lord, I really felt like I let that go, but I'm gonna just surrender that to you again. And I know that he's understanding of that because each time he brings me a new revelation of like, I appreciate you surrendering that to me again. Here's something else that I want you to know about this person or about this situation. Or even whenever I'm talking to my therapist about it, like there will be things that I feel like we fully fleshed out, and then something happens and it comes back and we end up talking about it again. And she's like, so you need to be reminded of this. You needed to be told this. You need to think about this in a different way. And that's exactly what God is asking you to do whenever you do daily surrender to Him. He's asking you to not just let go of that situation at first glance, but to understand that because of the pain it may have caused, because of the hurt it may have caused, there are things that may need a continuous release in order for you to really let that thing go. And I just think that's so powerful. I feel like that is such a testament to like how complicated and complex we are, and how like easily hurt and offended we can be by things, and how easily we can hold grudges. I think it's important to think about and how in scripture God is constantly telling us like don't be focused on what other people are like sinning in or worrying about. The speck in their eye is distracting you from the plank in yours. And if you're not acknowledging the fact that there are still things that you have to heal from, that there are still things that you're holding on to whilst you're trying to call other people out on their crap, you're never going to be able to get to a place where you're fully surrendering to God, because you're constantly thinking about, oh, well, this person did bad, but how have I not done good? How have I not taken accountability for things? Come on now. It's important. It's important to acknowledge those things. It's why God calls us to acknowledge the plank in our eye in the midst of calling out someone's speck. Continuous surrender. You're not going to do it overnight. It's not gonna, God knows it's not going to happen overnight. That pain didn't develop overnight, because it's like you acknowledge that you have a scab and you might not pick at that scab, but the second that somebody accidentally grabs you by that scab, you're like, ow, that hurt. No wonder you have a scab. It needs to heal. You have to give it time to heal. I don't have anything to say about that. Go into this new season understanding that while you are taking the time to grow differently, grow better, be better, you also have to take the time to clean out the clutter, air out your dirty laundry, take stuff to Goodwill, and stop holding on to the things that are causing for you to go back into a place of pain, or go back into a place where you were delivered from or where you are free from. Like, no, God understands that we make mistakes. God understands that we are easily offended, that we are hurt by people, that we are people that get jealous, that we are people that are really stubborn. And He sees that and He accounts for that. That's why we have salvation. Salvation is not just the walk of faith, it's the relationship with God and the grace He provides for us. Thank you, Lord. Oof, I'm just, anyways. Walk into the season understanding that in order for you to grow better, you have to get rid of the things to help you get better. We do have to do the work to clean those things out and to declutter those things from our mind. This is really nice. I definitely needed this. I don't know if anyone else needed this, but I hope that you guys got something from this, that it helps you kind of walk into your season and walk into September with a different mindset, a different look on what this new year, 2024, the fall winter season is going to bring you, and how you can walk into that prepared. That's the most important thing that I hope you take away from this, is like you have to prepare yourself for what it is that you're asking for what it is that you want. And if you're not preparing yourself for those things, then how are you going to be in a place to accept them? How are you going to be in a place to receive them wholeheartedly if you're still stuck? But let me know if you guys want me to do more videos like this, because I want to do this with you guys. We're doing this together. We're all going through things. We're all in this economy. You know, it's important for us to not just support one another, but to uplift one another and to pour into one another. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Leave a comment, please, about what tip you're going to try, or just in general, if this was uplifting to you. And I will see you next time, lovelies. Don't forget to subscribe and share.